Question 1. Canine Behavior Assessment. Which of the following is the most effective strategy for addressing a dog that exhibits extreme fear and avoidance behaviors when introduced to new environments? A. Using positive reinforcement to encourage exploration with minimal pressure. B. Punishing the dog for displaying fearful body language. C. Exposing the dog to the new environment without any behavioral interventions. D. Immediately allowing the dog to retreat from the new environment to avoid further stress. Answer A. Using positive reinforcement to encourage exploration with minimal pressure. Explanation. Fear and avoidance behaviors in dogs are often rooted in anxiety and discomfort. The most effective approach is to use positive reinforcement techniques that help the dog gradually associate the new environment with positive experiences like treats, praise, or toys, thus encouraging exploration without pressure. This method helps reduce fear over time. Punishment, option B, can exacerbate anxiety, while exposing the dog without behavioral interventions, option C, may increase stress and allow retreat, option D, can reinforce avoidance behavior. Research and guidelines suggest that gradual desensitization paired with positive reinforcement helps modify these types of fear-based behaviors effectively. Question 2. Scenario question on dog training tools and equipment. Mr. Thompson, a professional dog trainer, is preparing a training session for a large dog that has a tendency to pull on the leash aggressively during walks. He is deciding between using a flat collar, a martingale collar, a prong collar, and a harness. The dog has a history of pulling and is quite strong, making walks stressful for the handler. Which tool would be most appropriate for Thompson to use during the initial training sessions? A. Martingale collar. B. Flat collar. C. Prong collar. D. Harness. Correct answer, D. Harness. Explanation. In this scenario, a harness is the most appropriate tool to use during initial training for a dog with a tendency to pull. A harness distributes the pressure more evenly across the dog's body, preventing strain on the neck and throat while discouraging pulling. Through gentle guidance, it allows Mr. Thompson to maintain control without causing harm or discomfort to the dog. Prong collar, option C, could be effective for more advanced control, but is generally not recommended for initial training due to its potentially painful effects. Martingale collar, option A, is ideal for dogs prone to slipping out of collars but does not directly address pulling. Flat collar, option B, is ineffective in controlling pulling and may cause harm to the dog's neck over time. Guidelines suggest using humane tools that promote comfort and positive reinforcement during, particularly for dogs with behavioral challenges like pulling. Question 3. Canine learning theory. Which of the following best describes the process of shaping behavior in a dog through successive approximations? A. Using a single reinforcement to encourage a desired behavior. B. Gradually rewarding behaviors that are closer and closer to the final desired action. C. Immediately punishing incorrect behavior to prevent it from occurring again. D. Reinforcing the first response that is similar to the desired behavior regardless of correctness. Answer B. Gradually rewarding behaviors that are closer and closer to the final desired action. Explanation. Shaping behavior through successive approximations involves reinforcing behaviors that are progressively closer to the desired outcome. This method is rooted in operant conditioning and is effective in teaching complex behaviors that the dog has never performed before. Each small step or approximation of the final behavior is reinforced until the dog successfully performs the desired behavior. Option A is incorrect because using a single reinforcement is not sufficient for shaping. Option C involves punishment, which is not part of the shaping process. Option D suggests reinforcing any similar behavior, which is too broad and does not encourage incremental improvement toward the target behavior. Shaping relies on precision in reinforcing small, positive steps. Question 4. Dog training fundamentals. When considering the ethics of dog training, which of the following practices aligns with the professional code of conduct for dog trainers? A. Using forceful correction techniques to modify aggressive behaviors. B. Encouraging fear-based training methods to ensure the dog respects the handler. C. Employing positive reinforcement to reward desirable behaviors and avoid causing distress. D. Ignoring the dog's fear responses to test its ability to handle stress. Answer C. Employing positive reinforcement to reward desirable behaviors and avoid causing distress. Explanation. The ethical approach to dog training emphasizes the importance of humane methods that prioritize the well-being of the animal. Positive reinforcement such as rewarding desirable behaviors with treats or praise, is the most widely recommended and ethical practice. This method ensures that the dog remains motivated without causing harm. Distress. Forceful correction techniques option A and fear-based methods option B can lead to fear, anxiety, and aggression, which are not considered ethical in the profession. Ignoring fear responses option D can also cause trauma and is unethical in training practices. Ethical dog training revolves around fostering a trusting relationship between the dog and trainer, using positive methods that build confidence and promote learning. Question 5. Canine behavior modification. Which of the following is the most appropriate use of counter-conditioning when modifying a dog's aggressive reaction to other dogs? A. Gradually introducing the dog to other dogs while providing treats and praise for calm behavior. B. Correcting the dog's aggressive behavior by using an electric shock when it reacts aggressively. C. Isolating the dog from other dogs for extended periods to reduce its frustration. D. Ignoring the dog's aggression in the hopes that it will stop on its own over time. Answer A. Gradually introducing the dog to other dogs while providing treats and praise for calm behavior. Explanation. Counter-conditioning is a behavioral modification technique that involves changing the dog's emotional response to trigger, in this case, the presence of other dogs. The goal is to replace the negative emotional response, aggression, with positive one, calmness and relaxation, through the use of positive reinforcement. By gradually introducing the dog to other dogs and reinforcing calm behavior with treats and praise, the dog learns to associate the presence of other dogs with positive outcomes, reducing aggression. Options B and D involve punitive or passive approaches that do not address the root cause of the behavior and can make the problem worse. Isolating the dog, option C, may reduce exposure, but it does not help the dog learn how to cope with other dogs in social situations. Question 6. Health and welfare considerations in dog training. When training a dog with arthritis, which of the following considerations is most important to ensure the dog's health and well-being during sessions? A. Pushing the dog to perform at high intensity to improve mobility. B. Monitoring the dog for signs of discomfort and adjusting the training to accommodate their needs. C. Using extended training sessions to increase endurance. D. Focusing only on mental exercises and avoiding any physical activity. Answer B. Monitoring the dog for signs of discomfort and adjusting the training to accommodate their needs. Explanation. When working with a dog that has arthritis, it is critical to adjust training to avoid exacerbating the condition. This includes monitoring the dog closely for signs of pain or discomfort, such as limping or reluctance to move, and modifying the training accordingly. Lower impact exercises and more frequent breaks may be necessary. The dog too hard, option A, can cause pain and further joint damage, while extended sessions, option C, can also lead to overexertion. Although mental exercises are beneficial, option D, they should not replace physical activity entirely, as mobility exercises are important for maintaining joint function and overall health. Always prioritize the dog's comfort and well-being when training dogs with medical conditions like arthritis. Question 7. Basic dog training techniques. Which of the following is the most effective method to train a dog to reliably respond to a recall command? Come in a distracting environment. A. Repeatedly calling the dog while using a leash correction when it doesn't respond. B. Using high-value treats and gradually increasing distractions while rewarding the dog for coming when called. C. Allowing the dog to decide when to come to you without reinforcing the behavior. D. Calling the dog in an isolated area, ensuring there are no distractions at all. Answer B. Using high-value treats and gradually increasing distractions while rewarding the dog for coming when called. Explanation. To train a reliable recall, especially in distracting environments, it is essential to use positive reinforcement, such as high-value treats, to reward the dog for responding correctly. The key to success is gradual exposure to distractions, starting with easier environments and slowly introducing more challenging scenarios. This helps the dog generalize the recall behavior to a variety of situations. Option A involves punishment, leash correction, which can create negative associations with the recall command. Option C does not utilize reinforcement to strengthen the behavior and may result in inconsistent responses. Option D does not prepare the dog for real-world distractions, which are a common part of recall training. Reinforcing the behavior in progressively challenging environments is essential for reliability. Question 8. Teaching and instructional skills. Which of the following is the most important factor when planning a group dog training class to ensure success? A. Focusing primarily on teaching the dogs new behaviors without considering the handler's involvement. B. Creating structured plan with clear, concise instructions that are easily followed by both dogs and handlers. C. Offering minimal interaction with the handlers to avoid overwhelming them during the session. D. Using one-size-fits-all approach to training with no adjustments based on individual dog or handler needs. Answer: B. Creating a structured plan with clear, concise instructions that are easily followed by both dogs and handlers. Explanation: in group dog training classes, it is critical to provide a structured plan that balances the needs of both the dogs and the handlers. Clear, concise instructions ensure that handlers can effectively communicate with their dogs and understand the goals of the session. Successful group classes require a blend of attention to both the behavior and the handler's ability to follow instructions. Option A focuses solely on the dogs, neglecting the handler's role in the training process. Option C may reduce engagement and hinder the handler's learning. Option D fails to account for the different learning speeds and needs of individual dogs and handlers, which is important for group training success. Customization and effective communication are key components of effective instruction. Question 9. Dog training tools and equipment. Which of the following tools is best suited for a dog that frequently pulls on the leash, especially when walking in crowded areas or in a class with other dogs? A. Prong collar. B. Flat collar. C. Head halter. D. Sled leash. Answer: C. Head halter. Explanation: a head halter is an effective tool for dogs that pull, especially in distracting environments like crowded areas or group classes. It works by gently guiding the dog's head and reducing its ability to pull forward, making it easier to control the dog without causing neck or throat strain. Prong collars, option A, can be effective but are generally considered harsher and are not recommended for initial training. Collar, option B, provides minimal control and is not ideal for dogs that pull excessively. Sled leash, option D, may tighten around the dog's neck when it pulls, causing discomfort and potential harm. The head halter is humane and effective option for controlling pulling behavior in difficult situations. Question 10. Canine learning theory. Which of the following reinforcement schedules is most likely to produce the most reliable and long-lasting behavior in dogs? A. Continuous reinforcement, where the dog is reinforced every time it performs the desired behavior. B. Fixed ratio reinforcement, where the dog is reinforced after a set number of correct responses. C. Variable ratio reinforcement, where the dog is reinforced after an unpredictable number of correct responses. D. Fixed interval reinforcement, where the dog is reinforced after a set amount of time, regardless of behavior. Answer: C. Variable ratio reinforcement, where the dog is reinforced after an unpredictable number of correct responses. Explanation: variable ratio reinforcement is the most effective and enduring reinforcement schedule for producing reliable behavior in dogs. It occurs when the dog is reinforced after an unpredictable number of correct responses, which keeps the dog motivated and engaged as it cannot predict when the reward will come. This schedule is commonly used in situations like teaching complex behaviors or maintaining behavior over time. Continuous reinforcement, option A, is effective in the early stages of training but does not produce long-lasting behavior once the reinforcement stops. Fixed ratio, option B, and fixed interval, option D, schedules can create patterns in behavior that may weaken over time as the dog learns the predictable nature of reinforcement. Question 11. Business skills for dog trainers. Which of the following actions would best contribute to building a positive reputation for a dog trainer in the community? A. Offering low prices and heavy discounts to attract new clients. B. Providing clients with a clear and professional contract outlining training goals and expectations. C. Limiting communication with clients to only during training sessions. D. Focusing primarily on marketing efforts and neglecting ongoing education and training development. Answer: B. Providing clients with a clear and professional contract outlining training goals and expectations. Explanation: a clear professional contract helps establish trust and ensures that both the dog trainer and the client have mutual expectations. It provides a framework for goals, responsibilities, and progress, which can reduce misunderstandings and contribute to a positive working relationship. Offering low prices, option A, may initially attract clients, but it can undermine the trainer's value and sustainability. Limiting communication, option C, may hinder the trainer's ability to build strong relationships with clients. Neglecting professional development, option D, could lead to stagnation and negative reputation as trainer. Effective communication, clear agreements, and ongoing development are essential to building and maintaining professional reputation. Question 12. Ethical and legal considerations. Which of the following is a key ethical consideration when managing a dog training business? A. Prioritizing profits over the well-being of the dogs. B. Making exaggerated claims about the effectiveness of your training methods to attract clients. C. Being transparent about the methods used and ensuring the safety and welfare of all dogs in your care. D. Ignoring client feedback and focusing only on your own training methods. Answer: C. Being transparent about the methods used and ensuring the safety and welfare of all dogs in your care. Explanation: ethical dog trainers prioritize the safety, well-being, and welfare of the dogs in their care, ensuring that training methods are humane and effective. Transparency about methods builds trust with clients, and making decisions based on the dog's needs rather than profits is fundamental to ethical practice. Option A violates the core principle of prioritizing the welfare of animals. Option B involves dishonesty, which could harm both the dog and the trainer's reputation. Option D disregards the importance of client feedback, which is vital in adapting and improving training approaches to meet the needs of individual dogs and handlers. Transparency and ethical conduct are essential to building trust and maintaining professional standards. Question 13. Dog behavior interpretation. Which of the following signs is most indicative of a dog feeling anxious or fearful in a new environment? A. Wagging its tail energetically. B. Barking excitedly. C. Cowering or tucking its tail. D. Approaching people or other dogs confidently. Answer: C. Cowering or tucking its tail. Explanation: when a dog feels anxious or fearful, common signs include cowering, tucking the tail between its legs, and avoiding eye contact. These behaviors indicate that the dog is not comfortable and may need time or support to feel safe in the environment. Wagging its tail energetically, option A, or barking excitedly, option B, are more commonly associated with the dog feeling playful or excited. Fearful. Confidently approaching people or other dogs, option D, generally suggests the dog feels secure and comfortable, not anxious or fearful. Question 14. Positive reinforcement. In a group training session, which of the following is the most effective use of positive reinforcement when training a dog to sit? A. Reinforcing the behavior by giving the dog a treat only after it stays seated for at least 10 seconds. B. Reinforcing the behavior by giving the dog a treat immediately after it sits down. C. Reinforcing the behavior by correcting the dog when it fails to sit quickly. D. Reinforcing the behavior by using a verbal cue but not providing any treats. Answer: B. Reinforcing the behavior by giving the dog a treat immediately after it sits down. Explanation: immediate reinforcement is essential when teaching the dog a new behavior, and when the dog sits, it should be rewarded right away with a treat or praise so that the dog can clearly associate the behavior with the positive outcome. This is crucial for reinforcing the desired action. Option A introduces a delay in reinforcement, which could confuse the dog and delay learning. Option C uses punishment, which is not recommended in training as it can create negative associations. Option D omits a tangible reward, which is less effective in reinforcing the behavior, especially in the early stages of training. Question 15. Dog training equipment. Which of the following is most appropriate for training a dog to walk calmly on a leash without pulling? A. Prong collar. B. Choke collar. C. Head halter. D. Slip lead. Answer: C. Head halter. Explanation: a head halter is the most appropriate and effective tool for training a dog to walk calmly on a leash without pulling. It works by gently controlling the dog's head, which in turn controls its body, making it easier to guide the dog in a calm manner. A prong collar, option A, and choke collar, option B, are aversive tools that can cause discomfort or pain and are generally not recommended for training a slip. Option D is often used for temporary control but may not be as effective as a head halter for addressing leash pulling in training. Question 16. Canine socialization. At what age is the most critical period for socializing a puppy to other dogs, people, and various environments? A. 6 months to 1 year. B. 3 weeks to 12 weeks. C. 6 weeks to 8 weeks. D. 1 year and older. Answer: B. 3 weeks to 12 weeks. Explanation: the critical socialization window for puppies is between 3 and 12 weeks of age. During this period, puppies are most receptive to new experiences, social interactions, and environmental stimuli, which help shape their behavior and temperament as adults. Positive socialization experiences during this time are crucial in preventing behavioral issues such as fear or aggression toward other people or unfamiliar situations later in life. While socialization can and should continue beyond this period, the 3 to 12-week window is the most important. Uh, Options are C and D refer to periods that are too late to effectively socialize puppies, as they are less adaptable to new experiences after this window. Question 17. Canine problem behaviors. Which of the following is the most effective way to address a dog that consistently jumps up on people as a form of greeting? A. Ignoring the behavior and waiting for it to stop on its own. B. Pushing the dog away with physical force when it jumps up. C. Turning your back and withholding attention until the dog sits calmly. D. Using an electric shock collar to discourage jumping. Answer: C. Turning your back and withholding attention until the dog sits calmly. Explanation: the most effective way to address unwanted behavior like jumping is to ignore it until the dog offers an alternative behavior, such as sitting calmly. By turning your back and withholding attention, you remove the reward the dog seeks, which is attention. When the dog calms down and sits, it should be immediately rewarded with attention, reinforcing the desired behavior. Option A. Ignoring the behavior does not provide enough guidance for the dog to understand what is expected. Option B. Pushing the dog away may reinforce the jumping if the dog sees it as attention. Option D. Electric shock collar is an aversive method that can cause fear and confusion, which is not recommended for addressing behavior problems. Question 18. Canine learning theory in operant conditioning. Which of the following is an example of negative reinforcement? A. A dog receives a treat for sitting. B. A dog stops barking when its owner removes a leash correction. C. A dog is scolded for chewing on furniture. D. A dog receives a click sound when it performs a trick. Answer: B. A dog stops barking when its owner removes a leash correction. Explanation: negative reinforcement involves the removal of an aversive stimulus to increase the likelihood of a behavior being repeated. In this case, the dog stops barking the behavior when the aversive stimulus leash correction is removed. This reinforces the behavior of not barking. Option A is an example of positive reinforcement where a reward is added to reinforce the behavior. Option C is an example of punishment, as it involves scolding the dog for an unwanted behavior. Option D is also an example of positive reinforcement where the dog is rewarded with a click for a desired action. Question 19. Dog training equipment. When using a martingale collar for training a dog with neck sensitivity, which of the following is most important? A. Ensuring the collar fits loosely to prevent pressure. B. Using the collar only for off-leash training. C. Ensuring the collar is snug enough to prevent escape. D. Using the collar for all obedience training, regardless of the dog's size. Answer: C. Ensuring the collar is snug enough to prevent escape. Explanation: a martingale collar is designed to tighten slightly when the dog pulls but does not choke the dog. For safety, it must be properly fitted, snug enough to prevent the dog from slipping out, but not so tight as to cause discomfort or injury. Option A is incorrect because a loose fit could allow the dog to escape. Option B is not accurate because the martingale collar is often used during on-leash training, particularly when the dog has a tendency to slip out of regular collars. Option D is not appropriate, as the collar should be used thoughtfully depending on the dog's size and behavior. Question 20. Behavioral assessment. When conducting a behavioral assessment for a dog that displays aggressive tendencies, which of the following factors is the most critical to assess first? A. The dog's breed and genetic background. B. The context and triggers for the aggression. C. The owner's training experience and approach. D. The dog's age and health status. Answer: B. The context and triggers for the aggression. Explanation: understanding the context and specific triggers for aggressive behavior is the first step in effectively assessing and addressing aggression in dogs. This includes identifying whether the aggression occurs due to fear, territoriality, possessiveness, or other causes. Identifying triggers helps develop an appropriate behavior modification plan. Option A. Breed can provide some insight but is not the primary factor in assessing aggression. Option C. Owner's experience may influence the effectiveness of the training, but it's not the starting point. Option D. Age and health status are important, but they don't provide immediate context for the aggression. Question 21. Behavior modification. Which of the following strategies is most effective for a dog displaying separation anxiety? A. Leaving the dog alone for progressively longer periods. 2. Teach it to cope. B. Encouraging the dog to sleep in the owner's bed at night. C. Implementing counter-conditioning by associating departures with positive rewards. D. Punishing the dog when it displays destructive behaviors. Answer: C. Implementing counter-conditioning by associating departures with positive rewards. Explanation: the most effective strategy for addressing separation anxiety is counter-conditioning, which involves changing the dog's emotional response to being alone by associating the owner's departure with positive experiences, such as treats or toys. This helps the dog feel more comfortable during separations. Option A may unintentionally increase anxiety by leaving the dog alone too soon. Option B might provide comfort in the short term but does not address the root cause of separation anxiety. Option D is incorrect because punishment can increase anxiety and worsen the behavior. Question 22. Training techniques. What is the best way to teach a dog to reliably recall from a distance during off-leash training? A. Using the long leash to drag the dog toward you. B. Repeating the recall command until the dog responds. C. Reinforcing the recall with high-value treats or play as soon as the dog returns. D. Allowing the dog to roam freely and return to you when it feels like it. Answer: C. Reinforcing the recall with high-value treats or play as soon as the dog returns. Explanation: the best way to teach a reliable recall is to consistently reinforce the dog's return with high-value rewards, such as favorite treats or play. This motivates the dog to associate coming to you with positive outcomes. Option A. Using long leash is helpful in the early stages but does not build reliable recall. Option B. Repeating the command can confuse the dog, especially if it is not immediately rewarded. Option D. Allowing the dog to roam freely is not effective because the dog may not learn the desired behavior and may not reliably return. Question 23. Canine behavior assessment. When assessing a dog's body language during a behavior evaluation, which of the following signs would most likely indicate that the dog is feeling anxious or fearful? A. Wagging tail with relaxed body posture. B. Erect ears, body stiffening and avoiding eye contact. C. Wide-eyed expression with ears forward and tail high. D. Playful bow, loose body posture and relaxed mouth. Answer: B. Erect ears, body stiffening and avoiding eye contact. Explanation: signs of anxiety or fear in dogs often include body stiffness, avoidance of direct eye contact, and erect or pulled back ears. This behavior indicates the dog feels threatened or uncomfortable. Option A describes a relaxed and neutral dog. Option C is indicative of alertness or excitement, not fear. Option D represents a dog that is relaxed and engaged in play, which is the opposite of fear. Question 24. Dog training tools and equipment. Which type of training collar is considered the most humane for training dogs with a tendency to pull on the leash? A. Choke collar. B. Flat collar. C. Prong collar. D. Martingale collar. Answer: D. Martingale collar. Explanation: a martingale collar is designed to prevent dogs from slipping out while walking on a leash. It tightens gently when the dog pulls, but it does not choke or cause harm to the dog, making it the most humane option among the choices provided. Option A. Choke collar can cause pain and discomfort and should generally be avoided. Option B. Flat collar is a standard collar but doesn't provide control over pulling. Option C. Prong collar is often seen as a more aversive tool and should only be used with caution and under professional guidance. Question 25. Advanced training techniques. Which of the following techniques is the most appropriate when teaching a dog complex behaviors that involve multiple steps, such as performing a trick? A. Using continuous reinforcement throughout the entire behavior. B. Shaping the behavior by reinforcing successive approximations. C. Fading all reinforcement too quickly to build the dog's independence. D. Using punishment to discourage errors during training. Answer: B. Shaping the behavior by reinforcing successive approximations. Explanation: shaping is the process of reinforcing successive approximations of a desired behavior. This technique is ideal for teaching complex behaviors that involve multiple steps. By rewarding smaller steps toward the final behavior, the dog can gradually learn the full sequence. Option A. Continuous reinforcement is typically used in the initial stages of training but is not sustainable for complex behaviors. Option C. Fading reinforcement too quickly may lead to confusion or frustration. Option D. Using punishment is not recommended in positive training practices and can cause fear or anxiety. Question 26. Behavior modification in managing a dog with resource guarding behavior. Which of the following strategies is most effective? A. Punishing the dog when it growls over food or toys. B. Gradually desensitizing the dog to the presence of humans near its resources. C. Taking the resource away from the dog every time it guards. D. Ignoring the dog's growling behavior to avoid reinforcing it. Answer: B. Gradually desensitizing the dog to the presence of humans near its resources. Explanation: gradual desensitization and counter-conditioning are the most effective strategies for managing resource guarding. By slowly increasing the dog's tolerance to human presence near its food or toys and pairing this with positive reinforcement, the dog learns that humans do not pose a threat to its resources. Option A. Punishing the dog may escalate the behavior and cause fear. Option C. Taking the resource away can increase anxiety and worsen the guarding behavior. Option D. Ignoring growling fails to address the underlying cause of the behavior. Question 27. Canine development and socialization. Which of the following best describes the importance of socialization during the critical developmental period of a puppy? A. Socialization only becomes important once the puppy reaches adolescence. B. Socialization can be done at any age as long as the puppy is comfortable. C. Early socialization between 3 to 14 weeks old has the most significant impact on future behavior. D. Over-socialization during the critical period can result in behavioral problems. Answer: C. Early socialization between 3 to 14 weeks old has the most significant impact on future behavior. Explanation: the critical period for socialization in puppies is between 3 to 14 weeks of age. During this time, puppies are most receptive to learning about the world around them and forming positive associations with people, other animals, and various environments. This early socialization helps prevent fear-based behavior and anxiety later in life. Option A is incorrect because early socialization is crucial for preventing behavioral issues. Option B downplays the importance of early socialization. Option D is also incorrect as controlled positive socialization during this period is essential for the dog's development. Question 28. Canine learning theory. Which of the following best describes the concept of learned helplessness in dogs? A. A dog becomes passive and stops trying to escape an aversive situation after repeated failure. B. A dog learns to perform a behavior more frequently due to positive reinforcement. C. A dog avoids certain situations due to a previously negative experience. D. A dog can predict the outcome of a situation based on past experiences. Answer A. A dog becomes passive and stops trying to escape an aversive situation after repeated failure. Explanation: learned helplessness occurs when a dog repeatedly faces an aversive situation in which it has no control, leading to a sense of powerlessness. Over time, the dog may stop trying to escape or avoid the unpleasant situation even when it has the opportunity to do so. This is a result of the dog's learned belief that its actions do not affect the outcome. Option B describes reinforcement, but it does not relate to learned helplessness. Option C refers to avoidance behavior, which is distinct from learned helplessness. Option D relates more to learned prediction but not the passivity seen in learned helplessness. Question 29. Ethical and legal considerations. Which of the following is a key ethical consideration for professional dog trainers when working with clients? A. Always use aversive training methods to correct undesirable behaviors. B. Disclose any conflicts of interest that might affect training outcomes. C. Accept all clients regardless of their experience level or needs. D. Prioritize personal preferences over a dog's welfare to achieve training goals. Answer B. Disclose any conflicts of interest that might affect training outcomes. Explanation: ethical considerations in dog training involve transparency and maintaining integrity. Disclosing any conflicts of interest ensures that the trainer's decisions are not biased and the client's trust is maintained. Trainers should always prioritize the well-being of the dog and owner. Option A contradicts ethical training practices, which should focus on positive reinforcement rather than aversive methods. Option C may not always be the best practice if trainer is not equipped to handle the specific needs of a particular client. Option D is unethical because it disregards the dog's welfare in favor of personal preferences. Question 30. Dog training tools and equipment. When selecting a leash for a dog that pulls excessively during walks, which of the following is the most appropriate tool to use in combination with positive reinforcement training? A. Prong collar. B. Choke chain. C. Front clip harness. D. Electric shock collar. Answer C. Front clip harness. Explanation: a front clip harness is ideal for dogs that pull during walks because it redirects the dog's movement toward the trainer without causing harm. This tool is a humane choice and works well in conjunction with positive reinforcement techniques such as rewarding the dog for walking calmly. Option A, prong collar, and B, choke chain, are aversive tools that can cause discomfort and should be avoided when using positive training methods. Option D, electric shock collar, is generally considered inhumane and is not suitable for positive reinforcement-based training.